What is up, guys? It's me, Troi, and I'm back here. I'm back again with another video. I don't know why I did that. Don't mind me, girl. I took my meds today. No, I'm not on no psycho medications, even though it may seem like a girl, but that's just not the case. I'm just a very highly energetic person. And what I was going to say is that I'm back here with another video, and as you can see by the title, this is going to be a book haul video. Book hauls are everyone's favorite, so I decided, you know, really the situation is really this simple. I went to the public library because I like to go there sometimes to get away from the electronics of, you know, PlayStation 4 and phones and all that stuff, but it allows me to just kind of settle down and just finish blog posts and editing videos and that sort of thing. But the problem is that every time I go there, as I go through the entryway, I have to, you know, cut an eye to the left to see whether the public library used bookstore is open. I saw the open sign up, girl, and I'm just telling you, something took over my spirit. My spirit said, Troi, you do not need to buy no books, but you can go ahead in here and buy you some books anyway if you find something that you really want. Because I've been keeping my eyes out for a couple of books that I've noticed in there. I just kind of reserved, you know, going ahead and making those purchases for whatever reason, because I think I have enough books already to read. But as it concerns this weekend, I brought my tail up in that mug and I came out with some books, and I'm going to share them with you guys today. So with that being said, thank you for joining me for this fun. So the first book that I picked up was a book called Stardock by S.L. Veal and Pepper Sandwich, okay? S.L. Veal and Pepper Sandwich, that's what her name is gonna be. Anyway, or his name. So anyway, as you can see here, it is sci-fi. Look at the aliens and then the Asian girl. I think she's Asian. I hope she is. Doing a dissecting something. But anyway, Dr. Chirijo, and that sounds very Japanese. It's a blend of Japanese and English, I guess you can say. Romanji. Dr. Chirijo Grayvale is a brilliant surgeon. Fed up with her domineering father, she leaves Earth and accepts a position as a physician at Kiverzania. I will make up something short and sweet in my head as I'm reading this book. You know, it's like these books, it's like the author just go and then hit enter and they made a name. Enter and made a name. But anyway, whatever this is it's a clinic, okay? So in an environment where humans are a despised minority, Chirijo or Sherijo must prove herself as each medical emergency arises and presents her with challenges of treating species and illnesses she's never encountered before. But Sherijo, I'm more inclined to believe it's Sherijo, harbors a secret in her past, a secret that, if discovered, could disrupt the already delicate relations between human and alien. A secret that's about to catch up with her, which most likely is that she's part alien or something. Like, I think that's kind of evident here at this point. But yeah, I really did want to read a little bit more sci-fi and sci-fi and fantasy. I just want that challenge of really reading books that I have little to no reference material to draw forth from to, you know, get my imagination running, if that makes any sense. Basically, you know, I'm not gonna get into it. So next I got Salaryman by Meg Pei. I want to say Pei. You know, Salaryman is generally a term that's kind of Japanese, but it looks like her last name is actually Chinese. But anyway, if you guys are not familiar, salaryman, as I said, this more of a common term in Japan, where, you know, there's a salaryman. You know, he's the breadwinner of the family. He spends enormous, extraordinary amount of time working for his company and for whatever position that he's in, sometimes to the sacrifice of his family or his personal life, meaning his wife and his children do not see him very often. The problem is that there's so much pressure, and, you know, when it comes to Japan, there's honor, and that honor turns into pressure for these salarymen to, you know, take care of their families, that they really lose themselves, and that is attributed to, you know, the suicide rate that takes place in Japan. With that being said, I wanted to pick this book up because of the fact that this salaryman is going to be moving to America. And as it says, is Jun Shimada is a Japanese salaryman and mid-level executive and corporate climber with a self-effacing dedication to his company. But now the conglomerate has dispatched him, wife, and child reluctantly in tow to its branch offices in America, where he will encounter injustices and compromises for which he is utterly unprepared and tragically unequipped. So I think that's going to be a very interesting to watch this Japanese salaryman go from, salaryman is kind of like a culture within itself, but he's transported from Japan to America and having to adjust to that whole different lifestyle. This book kind of made me think about Shang Ray Lee's debut novel of Native Speaker. Well, I want to say Native Son, but we know clearly Native Son is a totally different author from Shang Ray Lee. But with Shang Ray Lee's Native Speaker, Shang Ray Lee is Korean. He's from South Korea. But, with that novel, what he was talking about, or what he was sort of the context of the novel was that what it's like to be an immigrant child living in America, living in America and growing up with this very stoic and bland disposition where, emotionally he can't connect with people, within this country that he resides in. It's difficult for him to connect with his wife and his children. And that is what Shang Ray Lee's Native Speaker was about. I kind of like, I really like that book. But at the same time, I just want to choke the hell out of Shang Ray Lee's main protagonist. But with that being said, I just really love their juxtaposition, I guess if you will, of, having cultures being plucked from one culture and plucked into another, and just having to blend and finding that conformity that two different cultures can come together within one person, if that makes sense. I never make sense, do I? I'm an Aquarius. So much stuff is running through my head that I can't get it out at once. So next I got Tony K. Bambara, The Salt Eaters here. First of all, I just like this cover, even though I feel like this book has been sitting in the sun and it's kind of faded. But it's not as vibrant, but I do like this cover here, and it really drew my attention. But set in Claiborne, a town somewhere in the South, the Salt Eaters is the story of a community of black people searching for the healing properties of salt, who witness an event that would change their lives forever. Some of them are centered, some are off balance, some are frightened, and some are daring. From the men who live off welfare women to the mud mothers who carry their children in their hides, the novel brilliantly explores the narcissistic aspect of despair and the tremendous responsibility that comes with physical, spiritual, and mental well-being. I'm going into this book and this author totally blind, so we'll see what we come up with, but that is The Salt Eaters. If you have read that book, drop me a comment below, okay? And next, I got a book that I've always noticed at the youth library bookstore, and I finally got a copy. And that is, it's a nonfiction book, but it's a Harp of Burma. Can you see it there? By Michio Takayama. This is, like I said, it's nonfiction. It's translated by Howard Hebert. But let me read the back for you guys. But Harp of Burma portrays a company of Japanese troops who are losing a desperate campaign against British forces in the tropical jungles of Burma. The young soldiers discovered that the trials of war involved more than just opposing the enemy. The foreign climate and terrain, the strange behavior of foreigners, the constant struggle to overcome homesickness and nostalgia, and the emotions stirred by the senselessness of war. All of these forces, new and baffling to the soldiers, contribute to their distress and disorientation. In the midst of these overwhelming challenges, they discover the power of music to make even the toughest situation tolerable. Through their commander's ability to lead them in song, even though they face the inevitable of defeat, singing the songs of their homeland revives their will to live. So, there is a story of these Japanese soldiers, they're in war in Burma, and girl, you know how Burma is, child. And I ain't talking about the people that just fish out there, but in that particular time. But anyway, as it says, their commander is leading them forward, into this war through the sound of music. Just like a lot of Japanese stories that, that honor, baby, their honor is in there. They'll do anything to get their asses, where they need to be, even at the, even at their own demise.